back to the last session of this morning breakout. And now we're going to hear from CPH Holding. And if you wonder, CPH, I think you're well known for brands like Ceochem or Perlen Paper or Perlen Packaging. I think that is probably well known to the audience. And you may wonder, how does this relate to innovation? Well, sometimes also bad people are quite innovative in finding out how to trigger an attack against the company. And in this case, we hear about how they suffered and recovered from a cyber attack in and around an SAP environment. And with this, I would like to hand over to, there is René Kuhn in the background, head of IT. There is Hans-Peter Arecker, the CIO of Perlen, and there's Stefan Fiedler, CIO of TCON. And with this, I would like to hand over.
Thank you very much. Welcome, and hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I would like to try to handle this, yes, the pointer. Oh, now it works. I would like to share some information how we handled an enterprise-wide cyber attack we had last January, and how we handled it, how we get aware of it, and how we overcome the obstacle. So, the team here already presented. I think I don't have to lose any time on that. Just a few words about the CPH Group. CPH means in German Chemie- und Papierholding. And we are consisting of 3 business units. One, Perlen Paper, located in Switzerland, center of Switzerland in Perlen, where the name comes from. Perlen Packaging, pharmaceutical packaging solutions, and Ceochem, chemical products. We have production locations all around the world, in China, Bosnia, Switzerland, Germany, Brazil, and the US. So we are globally working around 24x7. So, short, brief look at the agenda. The life before the attack, actually, before it happened. Then how it happened, the experience, how we tried to get control back on our system, what we learned, and how we adapt what we learned. The life before the attack. Of course, our perception was we have defined all the relevant measures, we are prepared, and of course it never happens to us, it always happens to the others. That's the idea we had at that time. The reality was that we had an emergency reaction plan that was very well and proved to be right afterwards. We had a sophisticated backup strategy, but we have been still in the process of rolling out measures around the world. And COVID was not very helpful in rolling out because no travel, all the people in the home offices and so on. We had lots of restrictions applied, but not everywhere, and more important, not to everybody. So in reality, we have been on track, but not at the finish line. Probably you should ask yourself the questions, are you on the finish line? Then it happened. René and me, we have been in a rollout of SAP in Brazil at that time. I was just coming back from a celebration at the Brazil local time at the 6th of January when I got a call that something is wrong on the system. I rushed up to the hotel room, logged me in via VPN, and all of a sudden I saw, and that's really a bad experience, I saw how all the names of files that only I have access changed from an Excel file to a logbit file. Duck, 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 I really could follow it on screen. So that was, let's say, not a very good experience, like that's this one. Of course, the first reaction was complete disbelief. Cannot be true. Then a short period of panic, of course. Then a huge frustration. Why me? Why us? But then, actually, René also came back from the celebration, and we started the reaction. And I think that's the most important thing. React fast but controlled. Don't do panic measures. That was very important. We actually have shut down all the systems in Perlen on all our IT locations immediately. On the press release, it was a controlled shutdown of the system. In reality, we just plugged out everything we could get hands on to be as fast as possible. So how an attack works, that's something probably, I didn't know that before it happened to me. The IT security specialists, they have been talking about 3 phases. First of all, the entry phase, that's how and when they get access to your systems. This can be via a system with vulnerabilities, a firewall which is not patched, some system without access without multi-factor authorization, phishing mails, which is very common actually, and of course, not to forget, most of us have partners working on our system, having connection to our networks. This is also a possible point of entry. So that's how they got access. In Perlen, in our case, it was about a month before it really happened. They already got first access. The next step is the distribution. So they are in, but probably with a user account. Then they try to get more high-level user rights to other users. They try to distribute their software. Actually, the software we had, our hackers had, is a ransomware as a service. You can book this on the darknet. You got the access to a company like us. You're a well-known hacker. Then you can book this like you got Office 365. You got a help desk. You got automatic decryption testing. You got they do the payment stuff for you. It's like in the real world, but just not very nice. So they try to access your crown jewels, meaning your Active Directory. And as soon as they got administrative rights, you're gone. The next step, taking a few days, is the action phase. Normally they steal data, because then they can put you under pressure because of data security rights. And of course, they try to destroy your backups. They try to install backdoors. And at day X, that was in Swiss time, about shortly after midnight of the 7th of January, they push the button and they start to encrypt your systems. Of course, the next step, if this has happened, you have to find a way to recover with your partners, with the help of your partners. That's how normally an attack goes on. The next step is, of course, it has happened. We have shut down, we try to get control back. That's how it was. There was a happy system. Everything was okay. Then the 7th of January was coming. They did the action. And then we were very lucky, because TCON is watching over our SAP systems, especially the CUT systems. And 1 hour and 1.5 hours after the attack, we already got a phone call from one of Stefan's colleagues telling us that something is wrong with our systems. And then the whole process started. So we have been very lucky. And it took about an hour, these phases of disbelief and panic and calling and people driving to Perlen and to Mülheim to shut everything down. So our reaction started about 1 hour later. So that was very lucky. We have been very fast. And helpful was that we had a 5 hours time delay. So for us it was late evening, but not deep in the night. Of course, the most important thing is stop the spreading. Stop it as soon as possible, however you can do it. We were able to stop the spreading fast, so we have affected our servers in Mülheim, in Perlen, but not in China and not in the US. So, put up the wall. And why we have reacted that fast? First of all, because the partners are looking closely to the systems. I still have the imagination of Marcus, that is the guy from TCON, that has been thrown out of bed because there was an alarm call, getting him up and rushing to the system and send the information to us. And my organization is also used to 7 times 24 because we are working in Perlen like this, in Germany, all over the world. So we used to get called at night. That was the reason for the fast reaction. And that was very, very important, fast tackling and interruption of the spreading. Trying to control then was first analyze what happened, what is affected. Then we plan how to restart safely. Don't just start the servers and look what happens. Probably there are backdoors, and then they are back in and you're done again. Then, of course, try to get the backups running. We had 2-level backup strategy, and we had everything beside, to be honest, one server. With human error, the click was not set for the external replication. Then we do the restore and the ramp up, step by step. Don't get yourself pushed in such a situation. It's better to be safe than sorry. So between 4 and 5 days, we had all over the world, at least the production sites up and running again. Because we had the right partners, Ticon, Infogard, Inflow sits at our side. And this was key to our success. But we are talking about SAP here. So what happened to our subsystems? The SAP, core SAP and CUT, a part of our CUT system already have been out of the Active Directory domain. So they didn't get access. They were up and running, so they have been thrown back for that. That was very important for us to keep our systems up and running. But all the domain-based stuff was done and gone. Therefore, Ticon, as our partner, helped us to get the system back on track, back and up and running again, so that we could start production that fast. That's the point where I would like to hand over to Stefan Fiedler, which will share some thoughts, how was their view on our situation and how they can help customers like us or you handling situations like this, or better, even way better, preventing to getting into this situation. Stefan.
Thanks, Hans-Peter. Okay, imagine you're a technical consultant. You are a very good technical consultant. You're not Marcus, but you're a technical consultant. The phone was calling, ringing at 1 in the morning, and you see a message and one of the systems is down. So you get up, you get logged on to solve the problem. It should only be a small problem, availability maybe of the back. The worst scenario which might happen is you're hacked. A cyber attack is running on our customer side, on our customer, the CPH Group. Marcus reacted very fast. He called the 24/7 number, he raised the escalation process, and due to the fact of the very fast and quick reaction from the Perlen Group, and the initiated complete shutdown of all systems till through the hardware layer, the cyber attack could be stopped, could be disrupted, and no more systems could be encrypted. The bad news is that the attack was successful. There had already been a lot of systems which had been encrypted. This was a deep impact, and we decided at once to send technical consultants out to the customer side to support our customer, the CPH Group, as good as possible in the next steps lying ahead. For the next phase, this was the planning, the recovery strategy, and restoring the system and safely get the systems back. There had already been a lot of other partners involved, partners from the data center, hardware partners, security partners, forensics, and Ticon. Our part here was to develop a recovery strategy to bring back the production-related systems, the CUT systems. And as soon as the first system was back again in a guaranteed secured zone, we could start analyzing the system, analyzing the log files, analyzing the backups, analyzing the operating system, a lot of stuff and dependencies, which was important to get the right recovery strategy. And we have been successful because we found out that we can't reuse the database files, which means we had no data loss on the systems, and we had a very short recovery time, which was very important to the time together to get the systems up running again. The problem is we have a high complexity in the system landscapes. You not only have CUT systems, you have ERP systems, you have supply chain systems, production-related systems, and a bunch of subsystems. What was very helpful here was the emergency plan. It was very important to get a prioritized list of systems who we take care of. All was prioritized and focused on the main processes to get up again. But after the technical restore and the systems get back up again, the story is not over. The systems are back, and now you have to take care about the system, what's going in the systems. We had some cleanup tasks, we had to check some part of the processes, and we had to start up processes, start up interfaces one by another. It was a bunch of work because we had some machine data getting in, you had interfaces, you had to control the interfaces, you had to clean data, you have to check the data consistency, or if a subsystem is not running, and it's important for the process, we had to create workarounds again. Also here, it was very helpful that we sent beforwards a lot of people, a lot of our employees out to the customer side, because a lot of hands have been necessary to staff all the work. And it was a great job of all the people from the CPH Group and all partners to get the main core processes back running again in just a couple of days. Well, what was our best way to support our customer? Well, as already mentioned, it was the 24/7 support and our monitoring systems. You have to find the problem, but you have to react, and you have to react very fast because time is money. And on the other side, it is our long-term partnership with our customer, and it's our unparalleled industry and processes expertise which helps us that we knew the processes and other procedures out on the customer side and could advise, help very immediately. What is my conclusion for you? Well, the cyber industry is a big company. They have unlimited resources and they have an open budget, and they're using the newest technologies and the newest tools to get companies like yours or like mine hacked. And I only can advise you, just be prepared. Be prepared as good as possible. And I think Hans-Peter now has some really good learnings for you out of the cyber tech to the Perlen Group. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. I really would like to mention that the partners here helped us a lot. It's T-Con, for example. They did not only set up the system. They helped us setting up PCs. They helped even to rebook data because we let production running as long as possible without the system. They just keyed in production orders, produce products, and so on. All the other partners, Tieto for the SAP, for the systems had paper and so on. They all helped us a lot in this process. That was really of great value during this process of recovery. But what did we learn? Because we don't want to recover again. We want to prevent. And that's the most important thing. It's not a good job to be able to recover. A good job is done if it does not happen. But the problem today is really, as you mentioned, it's an industry. You can go to the darknet. There are marketing pages for these companies. They have several different hacking companies selling this ransomware as a service stuff. And they really have, each has its own marketing site where you can read things like, with us, you can encrypt in over a weekend more than with our competitors in a week. So it's really strange to be there. So what have been our learnings? The learning should be how to handle this stuff here. So I come back to this slide because we decided to define our measures along the attack line that was going on. First, most important, as early as you can stop them, the better for you. So try to prevent the entry. What was the learning there? Make entry as difficult as possible. Use multi-factor authentication, for example, everywhere. Whatever technology you use, use modern firewalls, keep them up to date. Train your users. Awareness is key because one, clicking on the wrong attachment that was slipping through your networks, it can be crucial. Limit access wherever possible, of course. And for us, cloud services have been key in recovery. Because first of all, you cannot encrypt Exchange Online. You cannot encrypt Teams. We had communication ability internally and externally through Teams and Exchange 365 from the first second. So we didn't lose contact to our customers, suppliers, and so on. That was very, very important for us, René and me, in terms of managing the disaster, but also for all our employees to keep in touch with the external world. And most important, no exceptions allowed, no boss key. So that's something that I saw in many companies, that everything is safe besides the big boss. So distribution, if they have overcome the first hurdle, they're in there, you have to identify that something is wrong in your system. So we decided we are not able to do it ourselves. No knowledge, not enough, the team is not enough, the full-time equivalents are not there to handle something like that. So we decided to outsource a security operations center with very professional company that really looks to our systems 24/7. Of course, use the best tools you can get hands on. Segregate your crown jewels, so your Active Directory as good as possible, things like bastion hosts and so on. And define processes, how you would react if something would be detected. This is not for free. To all the managers here, I'm only the IT guy, but this costs a lot of money, but can save you a fortune. Still something happened, still something going on. Something happened at the end of the day. React fast, of course, that's a well-known strategy, but you need to have predefined processes, reaction plans, and the right partners on your side. So that's the learnings, but does not help if you don't adapt them to the reality. We mostly implement the measures on the first 2 steps, because on the third we have proven that we are not that bad, because we have been able not to pay anything to these criminals. So we have been able to get up on our own, on our feet on our own. So we invested in the first 2 steps. Of course, we try to create a security-centric organization, so people are aware at the moment what can happen. They have never been as aware as they are now, but it already started to degrade. But don't lose the focus on usability. Even with my experience now, with this terrible month or 2, at the end of the day, we as CPH, we sell paper, we sell pharmaceutical packaging, and we sell chemicals. We don't sell IT security. So you have to find the balance between being secure and being able to work efficiently. And that's not easy. And again, also to make this happen, may cost some additional money. You have to follow the trends. Again, something we can't do on our own. We need to be in touch with partners like T-Con, but also especially here in our case, like Infogard from a bar in Switzerland. They are 100% in this area. They have something like firefighters for cases like ours, and then they have a team which is looking closely to our systems every day, every hour, every minute. The right partners here are key. If you are able to do it yourself, happy you. If not, try to find the right team that supports your internal team of IT. And don't stand still. The others don't as well. So they are, what's good today may be no problem for the hackers tomorrow. I try to close with this quote of Stephen Hawking. And I think this is very important, not only in business, but also in private life. It's something that intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. from Stephen Hawking is very good quote, which hits the point here, because you have to adapt your systems, your reality every day, because this cybercrime industry, it's pure industry with only one goal, to get money. It has nothing to do with these friendly hackers that hack some data from Vladimir Putin and put in on some websites again. These hackers we faced, they have one goal: harm you as much as possible to get as much as possible money out of you. And normally their first approach of negotiation for money is 3 to 5% of your yearly revenue. So if you have 100 million of revenue a year, probably they will ask for 3 to 5 million. So that's quite, and when you imagine if you have 500 millions, 700, you can calculate it yourself. Okay, that's it from our side. Thank you very much for your time, for being here. If there are some questions, I'm pleased, or we are pleased to answer.
Thank you very much. I think usually as a moderator you try to find a smart summary, but all I can say is frightening and great to see that there are solutions. So this is really something.
We believe to have solutions.
Well, and I assume this resonates with a lot of people in the room, so there may be some questions. Ask them. Just a moment. Use the mic. Yeah.
There was an article in the Wall Street Journal Thursday or Friday about a new concept called Trust No One, basically building small islands in your whole system. Have you looked at that?
No, we haven't been there, and it's also a question of, as I mentioned before, I mean, that's a very high level, very good approach to being secure. But as I mentioned before, probably it's not an easy approach to realize and keep your business fast and smart at the same time. That's what I meant with the balance to keep. I know about this approach, and of course we are thinking about things like that, but always under the circumstances that we still want to be fast, reactive, and a good partner for our customer on the real business side.
Further questions? Okay, if there are no questions, then thank you very much for sharing this.